Hey everyone, Michelle here from Scrappy Soul Sister. Hope you're all doing well, and thank you for joining me today for this process video using the My Creative Scrapbook limited edition kit. Now this is the September kit, and it is primarily Prima Cherry Sweet. And so I thought for this layout I would focus primarily on the tags that you get in the layout. And so I picked some out, and I thought I would do something like this. Yeah, something along those lines. And so I might do, I pulled out this paper too. I really like this paper, and either tear some sides here or here. And then I also have the stencil and the stamp. I think I'm going to use this stamp and maybe this flower here. But I'm going to keep the mixed media a little bit more minimal here, since I think I'm going to have quite a bit going on. And so I just have a heavier, I do have a heavy cardstock. This is Harmony Hues. I believe it's 110 pound, and I got this from mylittlescrapbookstore.com. And I thought on these tags I would just decorate them. I also printed out some smaller pictures, and I also have this one that's a little bit larger. Now these pictures are from Bouchard Gardens up on Vancouver Island. My husband and I just went there for a trip last week, and so I thought they would be good to go with some of the more fanciful elements that are in this kit. So yeah, so this will be fun. So let's get to work. Okay, so I have torn my paper for the top and the bottom, and then it felt like it was maybe a little tight. So I'm just going to tear about a half inch off of each of my tags, and then that helps it feel like it fills up the space a little bit better. So I have that all kind of laid out. I want to take a look at uh, what kind of, if I want to do anything to that white paper, and I end up taking the stamp that comes in the kit and applying just a mixture of the colors that I'm using pretty much all month with this kit, which is Salvage Patina, Peacock Feathers, Pick Raspberry, and Quiche Flamingo. And so go ahead and stamp this in one, two, at least three, it might be four, I think it might just be three areas of my layout, just where I think it might peek from behind the tags. And I do spray it with water. Now, like I mentioned, this is just a heavy duty cardstock, so I'm not going to do um, a whole lot of water here, but I am doing, the next step does have quite a bit of water. I didn't use gesso, and it holds up really well. I was pleasantly surprised. And so I'm going to put everything back, see how we are doing. And I'm liking it so far, but once I start down the road of using some color on paper, I need to just keep going. So I'm going to blur it out just a little bit, and then I decide, okay, I'm going to just proceed while I think about things. And so I'm using some chipboard scraps that I had handy to mount my tags so they have just a little bit of lift. I don't need them to be high by any means, but I want them to create a little shadow, and I want to be able to tuck things underneath them if I choose to. And so I have all of those just about done. And and I um I'm going to go ahead and apply my little torn strips. I had a couple of barcode strips that I had torn so that it has kind of a layered look. So I'm going to go ahead and attach these. Now, these are going to change. Obviously, I don't know that at this point. I never know with things like that how much to leave in the video and how much to remove. But in this one, I decide to leave it so you can see why a little bit more clearly. So I have everything there, and now I decide I want to add some color to the background. And so I am going to use this Inklings. It's a Shimmers paint color called First Blush. And so it's just going to give the background just a little pink wash. I am going to, apply it in pretty broad strokes, and I am going to add water to this paper. And like I said, like this paper handles it really well. I was really surprised, and I don't know if it's because it was pretty watered down to begin with. It doesn't soak right in like paper tends to do if it doesn't have gesso on it. But yeah, I was really happy with it. And so I'm playing with my brush there. I haven't used this brush to create splatters before, and I thought I would give it a shot. And it does an okay job. So far, so good. And so once this is all on here, I will let it dry for a little bit and then continue on building. Oh, I decided I wanted to use my regular paintbrush, and so adding a few more splatters there. And I'm also going to add some white while that paint is still wet, so it kind of creates some white blotches in it, and I like that a lot. But because I did that, now it feels like these strips are just going to be too big because it kind of I don't it just makes it feel like everything is there's just too much going on. So instead of using the strips, I just tear off a tiny bit of each one, and I'm just going to do a little tiny torn edge at the top and the bottom, and I like that a lot. So I decide with this dark charcoal to use that for my thread. I also have added, or I think I've already added black splatters, so that kind of ties that in. And that will allow the pink and the aqua to be in the embellishment. And yeah, so got all that stuck down. I've got everything even the way I want it, and it is time to take a look at the pictures. So I'm going to mount my pictures on this pink with white heart paper. And then the main picture there, the topiary bunnies, I matted in white first and then the pink. Um, and so now I'm just trying to take a look. This is primarily how the pictures end up, though a couple might switch locations. That is where they are going to be on the tags. I've added in some florals, and I'm just starting to take a look and decide, okay, how do I want to do this? So that pink floral felt a little um, I don't know. I kind of wanted to have a sprinkling of ivory and aqua and pink on this layout. And so the ivory flower allowed me to use the smaller pink flower. And so that was kind of how that decision was made. I've added a couple chipboard pieces under my main photo and under the killer whale topiary above it. And now I'm just like playing with some bits and pieces. I add that peaceful dictionary piece. I am finally getting around to adhering my strips up there at the top, and now I'm looking at some of the little critters. So I've added the bunny next to the bunny. I'm adding the hedgehog there next to the owl. I am also going to add quite a few butterflies. So there is one there up at the top, there one to the side. So I haven't adhered on any of these yet, so there might still be on their paper. And then one on that Fairies Festival tag. I have a couple hearts from a previous layout that have hearts that I stamped and covered with glossy accents. So those have been worked in. And now I think that I am trying to decide on some envelopes, how and where I can use those. And I just end up using one up there at the top underneath that ivory flower. And I am figuring out my word phrases. I do one French at the bottom. It's not that one, it's a shorter one. There we go. And at the top, I have here is everywhere I want to be. And then I have a couple of French sayings uh, to the bottom left and the top right. And then I'm going to consider that spring flowers uh, bit there to the left by the pink flower. I'm going to consider that to be my title. So I think that I'm getting close to being done with all the little details. I am going to adhere my butterflies, and then I'm going to add some black rhinestones to their spines, and then that's going to be it. So, thank you for joining me. I hope you enjoyed it. I appreciate your time and support. Any likes or subscribes or comments are totally appreciated. Be sure to check out my creative scrapbook. This is just a gorgeous kit for September. But if it's not your jam, there are other kits available that might be more your style. So check them out. And I have some close ups coming up here shortly. Thank you so much, everyone. Bye now.